Hello my lovely Flosstube friends. Well, as you can see, we have a new location. It's too hot, people. It's too hot to be indoors. It's too hot to video indoors. It's just too hot. So hence the reason why this video is so late, because I was thinking, well, eventually this gorgeous weather is going to have to go away, because typically British, we always end up with some rain and clouds and a cold snap. But it appears that we're not having any cold snaps this year, so you'll have to take me as I am. So I'm outside, it's something like 30 odd degrees and it's really humid, and obviously we're not like in America and the US and Canada. We're not geared up to this weather. We don't have air conditioning, and we're not used to this, so I'm loving it. But the problem is it's so hot and it's staying so hot at night that you can't stay indoors. It's just too hot. With no air conditioning, no breeze, no anything, you just cannot be indoors. So every night that I'm coming in from work, it's literally out on the deck, because it's the only place that it's cool enough that you can sit sort of comfortably. I'm not complaining. I'm really not complaining, because you know I love a bit of gorgeous weather, but a little bit of rain wouldn't go amiss, and the odd bit of cooler temperature. Right now, bearing in mind this has been going on since about May, end of May. So yeah, and we're now end of July. I mean, we haven't had rain here since April. So my poor flowers are not doing so well this year. And the humidity is immense. So, but like I said, not complaining. So where have I been? Obviously outside, because it's so hot. Working hard as usual. So much to tell you. So the last time I did an update was my April-May update. So this one is my June and July update, because I skipped June because so much was going on in June. So what happened in June? Okay, so we went to the stitching retreat, had an immense time. That was on the 8th of June until the 10th of June. Met all my lovely people, did some stitching. The only thing is, I've sort of got a new hobby. Yes, I know, as if I didn't have enough. So I took up dancing about 7 months ago, so Latin and ballroom, basically to help with just sort of keeping myself active and a bit of fitness without actually going crazy. Absolutely thoroughly enjoying it, so much so that they turned around and said, Treasy, you need to do an exam because you're getting a bit good now. I say good, okay, acceptable. So the only problem is they wanted me to do a competition. Well, part of the competition for the NATD means that you have to have passed your pre-bronze exam to be able to enter the competition. So my dancing teacher was like, Treasy, you have to do the competition. I mean, I've only been dancing 7 months and they want me to do it. So I was like, well, okay, you know, I'll go with whatever you say. The only snag was that the exams to be able to enter into the competition took place on Sunday the 10th of June, which, guess what, was the last day of the stitching retreat. So unfortunately I had to bail out on the Saturday night and drive all the way home, so that I was at home on the Sunday for my dancing exam. So I missed out on the last half a day of fun with the ladies, but it was so great to catch up with everyone. There were some new people there, there was the regulars there, and there was, you know, the ones that have been going for as long as I can remember that were there. So, but we all had an absolute blast. Hotel was great as usual. Yeah, fabulous time. Just a shame that I had to miss the last half a day. So anyway, done my dance exam. It went positively swimming. Got a good exam result, so that was a good thing. Literally, so I had my dancing exam on the Sunday, and then my holiday, me and my wisdom, I booked a holiday to go to Turkey for a week with my husband and get away. And that was on the Tuesday. So literally, I had the dancing exam on the Sunday. I unpacked one suitcase from the retreat, repacked another suitcase, and then on the Tuesday morning, I flew out to Turkey for a week, which was immense. Fabulous weather, laid around in the sun, didn't do much of anything. Wonderful, wonderful boutique type hotel. So not like a big gigantic chain like I would normally go to. Chose something that was a little bit more boutique-ish, and do you know what? I think it's the way to go, because it was amazing. The food was immense, the hotel was immense, the guests were good. You know, sometimes you can go to hotels and you know you have more trouble with the other people than you do anyone else. But no, fabulous time. Lots of relaxing happened, lots of sunbathing happened, and then we come back here and it's like a heat wave. So yeah, and then obviously it's just back to work, back to gardening, back to all the other stuff. It's been busy, really busy, but it's summer. I like summer. So, stitching. All of the above obviously causes an impact on the stitching. But that's not to say I haven't done any stitching. I've just not done a lot of stitching, which I'm fine with. I can handle that. You have to excuse me, I am looking at some notes so that I don't forget everything. So, let's get to the bit that you will be waiting for, is stitching. And again, I'm sorry about this, but it's just too hot. So, I'm sitting here and I've got sweat dripping whilst I'm sitting here talking to you. That's how hot this is. It's horrid at the minute. It's like humid. The humidity is high over here, a bit like it is in the States. So, let's drag my chair over. What have we got to show you? So, on my flight out to Turkey, I thought, you know, I have to do the obligatory flight stitching because it makes the flight go much faster. But obviously my flight wasn't that long. I think it was only like 4 hours, something silly like that. So it was a really, really quick flight. That was one of the reasons we went there. We didn't want a big long haul flight. So I decided to take my Frosty Forest, which has been very neglected. And the one that I'm doing at the moment is the Snowy Deer Frosty Forest. Here we go. Sorry if there's a bit of a glare. There's the Frosty Forest by Country Cottage Needlework. So this is the one where I'm doing the series. And this is where I got to, she says. It's quite funny because whilst I was stitching on this on the aeroplane, there was a stewardess, a youngish stewardess at that. And every now and then she kept looking at me, and then all of a sudden, like when she came over with the drinks and the refreshments, she was like, "Can I ask, you're cross stitching, aren't you?" So I was like, "Yeah, I am." And she was like, "Oh," she said, "Do you know what?" She said, "In my entire career, you're the first person that I've seen cross stitching on an aeroplane." She said, "I cross stitch." She said, and then she looked at mine and she was like, "Oh, I don't cross stitch on that." So I think she's more of a kit girl, and she stitches predominantly, I think, on Ada. So I explained to her that this was even weave and it's slightly different to the Ada, but she knew what it was. She was rather impressed, I think. And the fact that she does it, that made me feel so much better. But it's the first time that she's seen anyone. I think that obviously she only works on the internal flights, or like the what we call domestic flights normally. But yeah, she was just like, "Oh, it looks so wonderful. Oh, can I look at the pattern? Oh, it doesn't look too complicated." So I don't think she sort of does a lot of stitching, but she does stitch. So this is where we got to. Now that so here we are. So we got the banner across the top. I've actually finished the trees. I'm not quite sure what that is, and I've just started on the snow down here. There's some deers to go over here, but look, I still have a Father Christmas on there because it's Christmassy, right? But it didn't dawn on me until I was sitting on the aeroplane. I'm sitting there thinking, I've got a snowman. That's not Father Christmas, is it? Snowman. I've got a snowman on it. I'm heading out to sunny climates and I'm sitting here doing a snowy scene. So that was quite amusing. So anyway, it got a little bit of love. Not a lot of love, enough. Better than it had if I hadn't have took it. So that was that one. Next up is my spring, come on. Hold on. Next up is the Spring by Cricket collection, which is this one. Focus. And this one is being worked on 28 count Lugana by Chromatic Alchemy Spring at Lakeside. I took this one off the frame for the first time in ages. Let's just move the pattern so you can actually see how far I've got. And this is where we've got to. I can't see what you can see. So obviously I'd already done the eye, the R and the cloud, and I've now finished the P and the flowers. I think there's a few more bits and pieces to go on there, but I've done the picket fence. I think, looking at it, I think my birdie's in the wrong place. He's supposed to be like a stitch or two across, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over that, and I'm certainly not moving him, so he can stay where he is. Happy with that. He can stay exactly where he is. So spring has had a little bit of love. Again, not a lot of love, but any type of love is fine. So that is that one. So predominantly I was stitching mostly on stuff that was like more in hand and just sort of on a little Q-snap, because they're easier and you can do that while sitting on the sofa with your feet up. And then the other day I decided, do you know what, Teresa, you're getting really lax, really lazy. You know, it got to the point, I'm so tired at work at the minute because things are so busy and ramped up at work, that I'm coming home from work and I'm so tired. And I do like 4 stitches and I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered. Now, is that me losing my stitchy bug? Do you think? I'm not sure. I'm trying to work out whether I've lost... I don't think I've lost my stitchy bug, because it niggles away at me and annoys me, the fact that I haven't done any stitching. I think it's this, I'm just genuinely tired. But then if you're losing your stitchy bug, do you just not want to do it and you don't care, or do you not want to, or do you want to do it but you don't want to do it? I don't know. I'm trying to work out whether I'm losing my stitchy bug or whether it's just that I'm tired and busy and just not having enough time. But I just get this little niggle at me that I really should be stitching. Not should be, would like to be, and would like to feel like I want to. But I'm like sitting there going, oh, but I can't be bothered. So tell me, anyone that's lost their stitchy bug, is that losing your stitchy bug? Am I losing my stitchy bug, or am I just tired and preoccupied with other stuff? Because it's starting to get a bit concerning when I'm not really doing much of anything. But then, like I said, I can't stitch indoors at the minute because I can't stay indoors because it's just too hot. My house is like a greenhouse. And then out on the deck here in the evening, I've only got, I don't know what to call them. They're like candlelight things that are that stick up. So there are some mood lighting along the deck and around, but it's not bright enough. It's not light that you could sit and stitch with, so I can't drag my stitching out here and sit and stitch in the evening. Maybe that's what I need to do. I need to get hubby to put in some stitching lights for me, but I don't know. Anyway, so next up, I decided, you know what, Teresa, you really need to get your act together, because it's just like you're barely stitching anything. Maybe if you get one of your bigger projects out, it might inspire you. So I thought, okay, I've made Grace Faces my focus whilst I was at the retreat, because the plan was to try and get as close to a finish as possible, because she's so close yet so far. So, and obviously I think I burnt myself out on her whilst I was trying to get her stitched up before. So obviously the agreement was that I would take her to the retreat and see how far I could get. And I have done a fair amount whilst I was at the retreat, even though I was only there from the Thursday to the Saturday evening. And then obviously I've done a little bit more stitching on her in the last couple of weeks. But again, like I say, you know, we're talking a maximum of 50 stitches, and then I'm putting her down. So anyway, I'm not sure that I'm going to be showing you pictures of when you saw it last, because that means sitting indoors and playing around on the computer, and I just can't do that. So you might just have to settle for whatever is in this video without any editing and without any pictures of befores. So, but if you want to know what it looked like before, look at my last video, because that's exactly where we was. So here we go. So Grace Faces. This one is on 18 count Ada. Yeah. And this is where we're up to. So as you can see, it's so close. So close. But it's lots of confetti and lots of stuff and changes, and but it is so nearly there. I mean, I decided to stay with the fuchsia pink in the cheek and basically stitch the whole thing and see what I think, because obviously there was a lady that switched that out. I'm going to try and keep it in, one because it goes with my kitchen, because my kitchen's fuchsia pink. But yeah, so close, people. We're nearly there, very nearly there, just not quite. So yeah. So again, a little bit of love was happening, not immense amounts of love, but I think as long as I'm doing something, it stops me from feeling so bad. And then, like, for the last God knows how long, I've been so busy, it's been ridiculous. Then hubby decided that he was going away racing this weekend from Friday. Obviously I worked from home on Friday. So whilst I was working at home, I was thinking, do you know what? This weekend I'm not doing anything. There's nothing that I have to do. I ordered my food shopping in, so my food shopping came on Friday. So I thought, do you know what? This is just going to be a me time day. And I decided that I needed to stitch. I didn't want to stitch on Grace faces. I didn't want to use one of my little ones. So I decided that the lovely Evening in the Park Chatelaine piece needed to come out, and maybe I needed something to inspire me, to really get me in the mood. So I thought, well, whilst I'll do that, I'll watch a bit of Flosstube, because that's another thing that I've neglected massively. I haven't been able to watch any Flosstube. So I decided to flick through my subscription list and saw the immense amounts of people that have been uploading loads of videos, and I haven't seen any of them, so I apologise, anyone and everyone. And then realised, as I was flicking through, thinking, oh, you know, where shall I start? I don't even know where to start looking. I saw one pop up from Miss Milky Bar. And I was like, oh my God, she's the reason that I'm stitching. It was her that actually, I was watching her Flosstube videos were the ones that I was watching before I even started. Literally, when I was just thinking I need something to do with myself because I'm so bored and going stir crazy here, and I need something therapeutic considering I'm unwell. And it was the information that came from her videos that actually created me to end up doing my first ever Heaven and Earth design as a first start. So when I saw her video, I was like, oh, I've got to watch that. So there I am, stitching away on Evening in the Park and beading, whilst sitting there reminiscing but enjoying every minute of Miss Milky Bar Kid. So the fact that she's back, whether she's back full time or whether she's just popping in and diving in to say hi and let us know what she's up to. So when I saw her video, I was just like, I have to sit and watch that. It's immense. For those that haven't gone and checked out her, well, anyone that knows anything about Flosstube would have to go to her, because she's like one of the originals. Between her and Stitching May, they were the two big Flosstubers that were doing the videos that basically inspired me from day one. So yeah, so sitting there stitching Evening in the Park whilst listening to Miss Milky Bar Kids, which was fabulous. There doesn't look like immense amounts of progress, and the reason I say that is obviously for those that do Chatelaine, you know there's quite a bit of fussy beading that goes on these. So whilst I was sitting there, I was thinking, well, maybe don't stitch so much, but get some of those beads on, because they're in desperate need to be put on. Because I don't want to leave it all to the end. I'm not a bead at the end person because it just drives me crazy. So I did. Where have we done? So, here we go. Where have we got to? So we already had this one. So I made a start on this one. And whilst I was there, I done all the beading. I don't know, see if we can get you closer. So I've done all the beading here, and here, and here. And I've done this side, and I've done the other side. And yeah. So I know it doesn't look like a lot. There's some of the stitches and the beading. Let's give you a little whiz around look. Sorry for making you sick. And the swan having a bit of a problem with the back stitch on the swan. So on the swan here, there's supposed to be an outline of back stitch, but the floss that they're telling me to use, I tried it and you can't even see it. So I was thinking I might use some silver metallic, but I don't, or not, or just leave it as it is. So again, any thoughts, people? What do you think? Does it need back stitch, or should I just leave it enough alone and just let it look like that? Bearing in mind that I've got another 3 swans to do. But yeah, so I must admit that really did help with the whole inspire myself to get back out and do some stitching. So a bit of progress, along with a good catch up with Mrs. Milky Bar Kid. So that was, oh, I was stoked about seeing her. And then I've been out in the garden all day yesterday, and then blow me, there's another video from her with a finish. So of course I sat down in the outside because it was too hot to go indoors last night, and sat here and watched her again. So that was fabulous. So hello Mrs. Milky Bar Kid. What else to tell you? That's the stitching. That's as much as I've managed. I was saying enabled. I was looking through Pinterest because obviously I've been looking at some of one of the things I had to do for my dance competition is, obviously I've got a ballroom dress that's already made, lots of bling, but my Latin, I thought, you know, I'm pretty new to this. I don't want to go out and buy a whole Latin dress and a ballroom dress. They're very expensive. So I decided to buy some practice skirt and top for the Latin, and when I spoke to my tutor, he basically turned around and said, just bling it up, Teresa. Just get some rhinestones, slap some rhinestones on it, he said, and bling it yourself, which is exactly what I did. But whilst I was going through Pinterest to find sort of flower designs or designs that I wanted to use for the rhinestones, there was something that came up, and it was called bead embroidery, which I thought was the same as anything else, where you literally just stitch a bead on and then go along, which is time consuming, and yeah, it's a bit like doing the chatelaine. But when I actually looked, there's something called Tambour beading and Tambour embroidery. Well, I was blown away by that, and when you see what they actually do, it's immense. So me and my wisdom thought, you know what, I've got more beads than I know what to do with, as I still haven't shown you my stash, but if I was to, you'd all be like, oh! So I might not have lots of stash when it comes to cross-stitch stuff, but I do have a lot of beads. So I decided that the fact that I've got so many beads, and the fact that I'm getting into all these stitchy, crafty type things, I thought I would give this a go. So I bought myself a Tambour needle, which basically, as you can see, is just a wooden handle with a screw thing at the top. And then, I don't know if you can see, see if we can get them. There's like a mini crochet hook. Because basically, the way this works, it creates a chain stitch with the thread that you use. And what you, for beginners at least, they advise you to use like a tulle fabric, which is basically like hexagonal holes. They do say that they do it on silk organza. I did get some silk organza and had a try, and I'm sorry, but I think you need to be a bit more proficient with this little chappy before you start going to silk organza. So I've got some tulle coming, and the idea is that if you're just using thread, again, you use, I mean, they use a certain type of thread, which I have ordered. It's not here yet. And it's actually Tambour embroidery thread, but you can use sewing machine thread, like metallics, but they don't advise you to use like floss type, because it gets it, so it sort of, because you're doing it like crochet, and obviously you have to catch the thread in the hook and pull it up, it can fray it a little bit, unless of course it's just a technique thing that you need to know about. But they tend to say use strong embroidery thread. So the idea is it creates a chain stitch on the top. So if you're just doing Tambour embroidery, you would use just the thread. But if you want to do Tambour embroidery beading, or Tambour beading as it's called, it's slightly different. So you have your fabric on the top of the frame, you have your thread that comes up from the bottom, and threaded onto your thread are all your little beads. You do your tambour stitching, like your chain stitch, from the back, so you have it face down. You bring your thread up and you attach the beads on the underside with the left hand, if you're right-handed. So you would hold this in your right hand at the top, a bit like I do when I'm doing my stitching. You hold the beads with the thread on the underside, and you catch the beads as you go within your chain stitch. It's much more technical than it looks. It's a lot harder than it looks. They make it look easy, and trust me, it's so not. But I'm hoping that if I get the right fabric, it might help. So I'm going to practice a little bit with this, and hopefully by the next time I do my next Flosstube video, I'll have something to show you to see whether I'm any good at it or that I like it. But I mean, I found it on Pinterest, literally, because I was looking at rhinestone designs, and it just happened to come up. But when I saw it, I was just like, I love it. I love that. The fact that you can just use the chain stitch if you want to. You can even do a satin stitch with it, apparently. But predominantly for me, it was more the beading, so that you could basically just make a design, like an embroidery design or any design, with my beads, which would clear out some of those. So yes, so that's that. Then, if that's not bad enough, I got totally enabled. See, I haven't been on Flosstube for ages, and because I've been so busy at work, I haven't really been able to talk to any of my friends. So poor old Donna Murray, I've barely spoken to her, plus she's got the boys off because obviously they're all on school holidays, so she's been busying herself with the boys. Or Mary Perkins, I've barely spoken to anyone with everything that's been going on. And then I spoke to Donna, and Donna said, oh, you know, I've got into this deal. Oh, she basically is the one that sowed the seed in my brain. So basically she was talking about diamond painting, and I'm like, what's diamond painting? I have no idea what that is. And she was like, oh, everyone's doing it. She said, you know, it's all over Facebook and yada yada. So anyway, she was sort of talking to me about sort of the fact that she's looking to get some of that stuff. So I was like, oh right, okay. And at the time I was at work, so I couldn't really, I didn't really think too much of it. And then all of a sudden, I thought to myself, I think this was on Thursday or Friday, I was like, oh, Donna mentioned about that diamond painting. So I thought, I'll Google it. Oh dear. Donna Murray, you have so much to answer for. You're so bad. So when I've had a little look, and then it's dawned on me, it's all over Facebook. And then obviously, I thought to myself, that's quite interesting. It's gluing and sticking. Who doesn't like gluing and sticking? I love gluing and sticking. So I thought, And then obviously I had a little chat with Donna, and Donna explained the whole concept of it and how it's supposed to work, and the fact that you can actually do a haid with them, which of course my ears and eyes pricked up at that thought. And obviously it can be done a lot faster than the stitched version could, and it'd be very bling. So I thought, well, obviously I'm not going to be trialing that until I've trialed it full stop. So, because I cruised through Amazon, and Amazon have got diamond painting. Or so I thought it was the same as what Donna was talking about, and well, as you can imagine, I thought, God, they're cheap. They're like so cheap. They're really cheap. Well, needless to say, they are very cheap, because they're not the same. They're like cheap sort of printed ones, and then you just fill in the bits and pieces. So anyway, I ordered mine on Amazon on Friday, and it turned up yesterday. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go. You know, it doesn't look like what Donna was showing me, or like what Donna said, and then obviously when I googled it, what they looked like. But I thought, well, it'll give me an idea of whether I like it or not. Donna was sort of saying, oh, it's immense, and you know, it's really, really good, and it's really fast, and if you want something different to stitch in, where it doesn't take too much brain power, and you know, it's another like fun, easy thing to do. And I thought, well, do you know what? It's so hot outside, I might drag it out onto my table here and sit under my brolly in the sun and just sit and do this, because I can't really do my stitching outside very much, because my floss blows away, and then when I'm trying to sort of do my flossy things, it's just like you're trying to catch the end, because it's like a slight breeze and whisked everything away. So I thought, well, this might be a bit interesting and a bit easier. So I've got to be honest, I've been a bit enabled, because halfway through this really pants looking thing that I've got here, I ordered one. Of course, camera has to stop. It's like a reoccurring thing, isn't it? So yeah, so obviously I've ordered a full coverage one, which is actually a patterned one. And I said to Donna, like when she was talking about the heaven and earth ones, I went, well, let me trial it first, and if I like it, then you're going to have to talk me through how I order all the bits, because you order it all separate and it's all done slightly differently. But I thought, well, if I buy a kit and try the little kit one first. But anyway, needless to say, it is a bit addictive, because I completed this yesterday. I mean, and this isn't like the real thing, I know, so ignore the lameness of it. But obviously all this is the plasticky picture, and then all of this is the diamond painting with the bling. See? And I've done that in an afternoon, less than an afternoon, which then made it very obvious to me that if you did a HAID and you had a few hours, you'd get a big chunk of it done every few hours, if it's as simple as this, which I think it sort of is. So needless to say, I've been totally enabled. I've ordered another couple of pieces, like full coverage ones with the square drills, as they're called. And then, because whilst I was sitting there doing a spot stitching last night after I'd watched Miss Milky Bar Kid, Stitcher Easter came up, and Stitcher Easter's doing diamond painting and showing us how to attach HAID pictures to the diamond painting. Well, then when I realised that everybody's into it and I'm so behind on the times, I did have to have a little smug laugh to myself, because I'm like, this has all been going on and I had no idea. That's how distant and far away I've been. So anyway, there you go. So obviously I'm behind on the times, I'm behind on Flosstube, I'm behind on my stitching. Yeah, I'm just behind. The gardening isn't behind. The garden's behind me. Nothing's growing because there's not enough rain. Maybe that's what it is. I've got more time on my hands this summer because my garden isn't growing fast enough for me. The garden's doing just fine. Just means I go out and do a lot more watering. So anyway, that's it. That's all there is to tell you, people. It's hot, like super hot. But yeah, I'm interested about this. Have I lost my stitchy bug? What do you think? Is it that my stitchy bug's gone? Is it, or is it going away? Is that why I'm not really stitching very much? Okay, people, it's down to you. You need to tell me. If I'm losing my stitchy bug, you need to tell me how to get it back. If I'm not losing my stitchy bug, then tell me it's okay. Yeah. I think that's it. That is it. We're done. On that note, I'm going to go and make myself a really, really cold squash. And throw myself in a cold shower, I think. And then come and sit back out here under my brolly in the muggy, humid air for the rest of the afternoon. Because it's Sunday. And I have a full week next week in London. And then my boss goes on holiday and I get to work from home for almost all of August, which is like, it's so exciting. Then I might have more time on my hands. But not if it's this hot. If it's this hot, I'll be melting for a whole month. But yeah, there we go. That's it, people. Well, it's lovely to catch up with you all, and I will see you all again soon. And likelihoods are it will be in August, because I'll have a lot more time on my hands in August. Fingers crossed. If my stitchy bug isn't disappearing, I'll have lots to show you. So until next time, bye bye for now.